Hi everybody, it's Patty, Rockstar Mom. Welcome back to my channel. Well, I wanted to get back on here. I know it's been a week or so since I posted a video, but I wanted to get back on here real quick to tell you what's going on in my life because there's just a lot right now that I wanted to share with you. The first thing is you may not be seeing or hearing a lot from me for the next month or so. And the reason is, well, the first thing that's getting ready to happen is I'm getting ready to have cataract surgery. I have known now for probably 7 or 8 years that I had some pinpoint cataracts that at some point would need to be taken care of. I was told that it would be years before they would more than likely affect my vision. And over the past 6 years, I have been to 3 different ophthalmologists, 3 new ones. I had my ophthalmologist that I'd been using for years when I was single. Then I had, when I married Jim and moved to a different place in Arkansas, I changed ophthalmologist, and again I was told again that I had these pinpoint cataracts, and then I wasn't real pleased with him, so when it was time for me to go the next year, I changed ophthalmologist. And then we moved to Florida this last year, and I had to find a new ophthalmologist here. So that is 4 ophthalmologists in a relatively short period of time. The one thing that they all had in common, or told me that was the same, was the condition of my cataracts, that they were just so tiny that I had years. As a matter of fact, this last one, when we talked about him, he told me the very same thing. He said, I'm estimating you might have 5 or 6 years before you have to deal with them. So when we were ending that conversation, I told him that I was having a real problem at night driving, that either driving or riding in the car, that the glare of the lights it was just almost blinding me sometimes. And he sort of stopped in his tracks and said, well, we need to talk about that. And he said, actually, it's very possible that you are needing the surgery. He said that is one of the symptoms of needing the surgery. So he made an appointment for me to talk to a surgeon about it, and I did go within the last 2 weeks ago, and they ran all the tests to make sure that I was ready for it, and I am. And I've been trying to make the decision on what kind of lens I want put in my eyes. And this has been just a real confusing for me, and based on some other things that had happened. I've worn contacts for many, many years, and for many, many years I did monovision. I only had, I could see just fine far off in both eyes, perfect vision far off, but I was having trouble reading. So I was able to do the monovision, and I only wore one contact, just one, and I would read with that eye, see far off with that eye. I never had any problems with it. It worked perfectly. When I moved to married Jim and went with that first ophthalmologist, he put me in multifocal lenses, and I always had a problem. My vision was starting to change. I now was having trouble seeing distance also. So he thought multifocal, and even though I told him that I had done the monovision, he felt like I should go with the multifocal lenses. I've always had problems with them from day one. I can see just fine far off, and I can just see just fine at a certain distance, but I still couldn't see really close. And it was like we never could get that fixed. That was one of the reasons I changed eye doctors. There, the next year, it was a woman, and she told me basically the same thing. She thought I needed to be in the multifocals also. And again, we just could not get it right. I wore them, but I would wind up wearing my readers over them. If I was really on my computer, with my computer in my lap, I still had to have my readers on, even with my contacts on. And I know those of you, many of you have seen me with my magnifying glass trying to read small print when I had my contacts in, no glasses. So I went, when I went to the surgeon, and they were running all the tests, and then he was actually talking to me about the surgery and the lenses that were available. And this is, the place I'm going is a very, it's probably the largest eye center in the panhandle of Florida. In fact, they are the only people who are doing the new raindrop surgery that was just approved very, very recently, a month or so ago, by the FDA for people who only need reading glasses, who are just starting to need reading glasses. It's like it's basically the reverse of LASIK. It's for those of you who only need it for reading correction. But anyway, they're very reputable. I have checked them out every which way, and you can check them out. And I feel real comfortable with them operating on my eyes. But anyway, we talked about the lenses that would be available for me and what would be best. And and many of you I'm sure know this, that Medicare does pay for a standard lens. And what that standard lens does is it corrects your farsighted, it corrects your distance vision. It does nothing for your reading or up close vision. It strictly corrects your distance vision. And that's just the standard. And I think that's sometimes called mono vision. I knew I did not want that, because if there was any possibility that I might not have to wear glasses ever again, or contacts that I could still really see, that's what I wanted to do. So that was one option for me, which I didn't consider that an option at all. The second option for me was monovision, not monofocal like I just talked about, but monovision. And monovision is where they correct one eye to read up close, the other eye to see distance. And the third was the multifocal, where it's basically what I was trying to do with the contacts, and still not being able to see really close up with something right under my nose, or even my computer sitting in my lap. So we talked about it, and I explained to him again that I had worn or had done the monovision many, many, many years ago, and I had no problems with it. Of course, I was only wearing one contact to read with. My vision in my other eye was fine for distance. My brain was fine doing this. So he suggested that I wear some do monovision contacts for a week or so, and then let them check me again to see if I could adjust to that, if my brain was still working in that direction. And then I could make the final decision on which lenses were best for me. And let me tell you, these lenses are fairly expensive. The mono vision are less expensive than the multifocals. The multifocals are 2.5 times more expensive than the monovision. So I went back into their contact lens department, and the young lady had me put in what they thought I needed for each eye, depending on which was my dominant eye and that type of thing. I put those lenses in my eyes, and I looked down at my chart on the little table in front of me. It was upside down because she was sitting on the other side, and I could read the tiny print upside down instantly. And I said, oh my gosh, I can read that upside down. And she handed me this laminated card with different phrases written all the way down it. And at the very bottom, it was so tiny, there was no way I could make it out. But the next one up, I could read perfectly well. It was sharp, it was crisp, it wasn't blurry. And she said, what's the smallest one you can read? And I read it. And I said, gosh, I wish I could read that bottom one. And she said, that's a joke. Nobody can read that one. It's not meant to be read. So with just doing those monovision lenses, I was seeing perfectly. I left, and I've had no problem with them whatsoever. I sit with my computer in my lap. I can read the small print on my computer. I haven't had to use my readers one single time. I can see distance. My brain has had no problems with adjusting to to doing different, my eyes doing different things. So I went back in yesterday. They wanted to try a different strength on me to see if I could get a better distance in that eye. And they did put a greater distance in that eye while I was there, and it affected my reading. I couldn't see quite as clear, quite as crisp with my reading eye. So I mainly decided, I took the card and I walked all over that place. I went outside, I went into their glasses department, I went in every different lighting and environment I could be in, and the original ones that I was wearing for the last week or so are the ones I'm going to go with. So I'm going in a week from yesterday for my first eye. It takes about 10 to 12 minutes, he said. I will come home with a clear shield over my eye, just to keep it protected from dust mainly in the environment, so that no bacteria can get in there. And I think I wear that for 24 hours. I go back the next day. He takes the shield off and checks my eye to make sure it's already healing. It heals super fast. Then that's Tuesday. And then on Thursday, if everything is okay, they're doing my other eye. And I'll have the same thing, wear the shield, go back the next day. I'll be putting drops in my eyes for healing. So I am finally having my cataracts done, and I will never have to wear glasses or correction of any kind again in my life, other than my sunglasses outside. And let me tell you why that is so important to me. Many, many years ago, I was a little girl. I was outside playing baseball, and I reached down to catch a grounder. And when the ball hit my hands, I did not have on a glove. When the ball hit my hands, it rolled right up my hands and hit me in the nose. Well, I saw stars. I remember it just as plain as day. I saw stars. My nose didn't bleed, though, but it broke my nose. Finished playing baseball, and you know how we did. We stayed out all day. When I went home that night, I told my mother what had happened because my nose hurt. I never went to the doctor. Didn't go to the doctor. Over the years, my nose started to close up. You couldn't tell by looking at my nose that it had been broken. So over the years, my nose started to close up, and by the time I was in my 20s, it had gotten completely blocked, and I could not breathe at all, not at all. So in my early 30s, mid-30s, my doctor strongly suggested that I have that repaired, and I had it repaired. And when the surgeon did that, he told me that that a lot of times with this surgery back then, that at some point in your life you would have to have the surgery redone because the bone might start to separate. And sure enough, about 3 or 4 years ago, when I had started wearing my glasses so much of the time and my sunglasses all the time, I noticed right here, you cannot see it if you look at it, but when I rub my finger on the side of the bridge of my nose, it's starting to separate. And it's from wearing, I had just gotten to the point for the last year or so I wasn't wearing my contacts very often at all, because I knew I was going to have to, if I was going to be on my computer, I was going to have to be wearing my glasses anyway. So I've got to get away from wearing any kind of corrected glasses, so that I don't make this any worse than it is, because trust me when I tell you, I never want to have that surgery again unless I absolutely have to. I sort of feel like at this stage of my life I'm too old. I don't want it to get any worse from wearing my glasses, but it's not going to get any better. Plus I can't see at night with the glare, so I've got to do it, and if I've got to do it, then I want to get a lens. I want to get a lens that will ensure that I don't have to wear readers or any kind of correction. I don't want to mess with contacts. I don't want to do anything. It's like I told him, I'm 73 years old. I'm in good health. I take no medication for anything. I feel good. The only thing I don't like about my life is that I can't see. I cannot see without my glasses or without my contacts, and I'm tired of that. I am very tired of it, and this is something I can correct, and I'm going to correct. So that's the first thing that is happening in my life within the next week or so, is I will be having both of my cataracts done, and I'll be able to see without these glasses, which is going to be wonderful. Now, something I have not told anybody, well, I've told a couple of you, and you've been good about keeping my secret, but on the 9th of November, Jim and I are going to be going to D.C. to see our son and our daughter-in-law. I've not told you, but they're pregnant, and the baby is due. So the baby is actually due on the 2nd of November, but her mother and father are flying in from Minnesota to be with them for the birth. If she hasn't had the baby by the 8th, they're going to induce her. They're going to take the baby, but she's actually due on the 2nd. They're going to be there from the 1st on for only 1 week, and then Jim and I are going the day after they leave for a week. And so it's possible that the baby will already be here by the time we get there, or she could have had the baby the day before when we get there. So we'll almost be there for the birth of the baby if that happens. I am over the moon. This is the first grandbaby on Jim's side of the family in 16 years. 2 teenager grandchildren by his other son, and now this one by his younger son and his wife. And many of you'll remember us going to the wedding in Minneapolis a couple of years ago. We didn't think they were going to have children, and so we were totally surprised when they told us. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, what is it, Patty? What is it? What is it? I'm going to show you something, and this will give it away. Look. The little tutu and the little leggings. And I'm not a fan of these headbands, but the headband comes with it. Now, I bought this. By the way, I've had a ball. I bought this at TJ Maxx 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I am making her, me and my little girl shoes, I am making her a little pair of pink shoes to wear with it. little pink satin shoes. But look at these little leggings. This is just too cute. We are just over the moon. They've been very secretive about the whole thing, and that was one of the reasons I didn't tell you guys early on, is because they asked us not to tell anybody. It was something that they wanted to keep close to the vest until they knew that the baby and her mother were healthy. There were some reasons that they wanted to make sure of that. So we knew it, but we couldn't tell anybody. And then when it came time to find out the sex of the baby, she was turned in such a way that they couldn't get her turned, so they couldn't tell. And it was another month or so. So it's been like we've really not even known that it was a girl until about 3 months ago. But they're not telling us the name. I have suggested a name, and I doubt very seriously if they'll name her that. It's not after me, but they're keeping that. They're not telling a soul what they're going to name her, so that'll be a surprise too. But I'm over the moon about this grandbaby. My daughter has always known that she did not want children, so I knew I was not going to be a grandmother with her. And marrying Jim and having those two wonderful children, oh my gosh, I couldn't ask for better grandchildren. I love them to death. There's not anything I wouldn't do for either one of them. My only real concern about this baby is what she's going to call me. I don't know what I want to be called. I've been mulling it around. I've been asking friends, I want something that's a little bit different, a little bit unusual. So if you have any cute, sweet, different grandmother names, let me know. There is one name that of any I would think that I would personally like to be called by this baby is Grandmommy. I just love Grandmommy. But Jim's first wife was always Grandmommy to the two older grandchildren. And every time anyone, me included, refers to her, we refer to her as Grandmommy when the children are around. So I feel, for me personally, I feel like she is Grandmommy. And those two children, when Jim and I married, I could tell right off the bat they were a little bit awkward. They didn't know what to call me, so they didn't call me anything. And so one day I just told them, look, you call me whatever you want to call me. If you're comfortable calling me Patty, I'm very comfortable with you calling me Patty. And that's what they call me, except when they introduce me. And when they introduce me to someone, they will introduce me as their grandmother. Or if Jim is with me, we're introduced as these are my grandparents. Jim and Patty is what they'll say. So if this baby wanted to call me Patty, it would be okay. But I thought about Grandpatty. But Jim is called Granddaddy, so I think that might be a little confusing to the baby. I know many times that babies sort of figure out their own interpretation of what you want to be called. My sister has 4 grandchildren, and from the very start she wanted to be called Honey. And I thought that was just silly, a silly name. Who would want their grandkids calling them Honey? But those kids call her Honey. Their parents call her Honey. Their friends call her Honey now. She's not Brenda anymore. She's Honey. And that has really grown on me. So I may choose to be called Honey. And when I Googled popular grandmother names, now that was the #1 name, Honey. Who knew? So I don't want to be Mimi or Meemaw. My mother was a Mimi. Don't want to be Meemaw. I don't want to be Grandma. I don't want to be Granny. I don't want. There's a lot I don't want, but I want something that maybe is unique to me. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. You know, I'm going to be FaceTiming that baby, maybe daily. So I'm going to say whatever I want to be called enough that she's going to know who I am and try to figure out when she's old enough what to call me. So if you have any ideas on it, let me know. But I am super, super excited. Okay, so cataract surgery, new grandbaby trip. We're going to come back. We'll come back, you know, toward the middle of, I think the 18th or 19th of November. We'll come back to Florida. Then we have company coming for Thanksgiving for several days. And then we are going on a cruise to the Southern Caribbean, a 2-week cruise. I think we leave maybe the first week in, the end of the first week in November, or the end of the first week in December maybe, for 2 weeks. And then we'll come home Christmas, and then the first of the year. And right now, we have nothing going on right now, other than in the spring or early summer, we're going on another Mediterranean cruise, I think. But if you see less of me and I'm not answering as many comments or commenting under your videos, you know what's going on in my life. It's just crazy. One product that I want to show you really quick that I received, and I was using this the other day, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't think I ever told you guys about this. And I wanted to show you this. This has been like a godsend for me. This company contacted me and asked me if they could send me this. And it's called the Green Garmento. It says, be fantastic, use less plastic. That's the brand. It is a huge, can you see how big this is? A huge bag, and it has the wooden handles on it. It has the straps, and then the inside of this folds up to make this thing even, look at this, to make it even bigger. I'm going to put all the information in the bottom, down and below in the description box about where you can get these if you're interested. Let me tell you, I took these with me when we moved out of our Arkansas home after the house had sold and we had to get all of our personal things out. These were awesome for linens and soft things that didn't weigh a lot. Pillows, linens. Ooh, I'm sorry, my phone is dinging. I mean, just awesome. I came home with them, unpacked them, and we have a storage room up on our 3rd floor. We take the elevator up, and I'm always running up and down that elevator getting florals or getting something for decorations, or, you know, it's like I need to take something up or I need to bring something down all the time. These are what I use because it's something that I can handle, manipulate myself, and get on that elevator right out my back door, get off of the elevator, and go right into the storage room. I love this. This, you know, sometimes there are those things that if it wasn't given to you, it's something that if you saw it, you would purchase it because you know how much you would use it. That's how I feel about this. I love it. I can't tell you enough how much I love it. So if you think you might be interested in it, check the link out below and go look at them. And I may even, let me go back and look, because I may even have a link for you to use, a special link. I'll look for it, okay? But anyway, that's it. That is it. I'm sorry the video was so long. I never intended it, but you know, when I started talking about that baby especially, I had to tell you all about that because I had truly forgotten to tell you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for your comments. No, if I don't have a chance to comment to every comment, please know that I have actually read every comment. I do read every single comment I get. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate you, how much I love you, how happy I am that you're sticking with me through all of these transitions and life changes for me. I hope the next time you see me in a video, I can see perfectly. I can read little small items. I need no glasses, no contacts, no magnifying glass, nothing. Don't forget to go out and be kind today. Just